Marcus's blood turned to ice the moment he saw her. Maria, his trusted housekeeper, passed out cold on a park bench at midnight, clutching his 3-month-old son in her arms like they were homeless. He couldn't breathe. His baby, his Luke. Out here in the freezing night, vulnerable, exposed, while the woman he paid to protect him slept in her work uniform with those ridiculous yellow cleaning gloves still on her hands. This wasn't right. This couldn't be happening. Marcus sprinted across the street, his heart hammering so hard he thought it might explode. "Maria!" His voice cracked with panic and rage. "Maria, wake up!" She jerked awake, eyes wide with terror, disoriented. For a split second, she looked around like she didn't know where she was. Then she saw Marcus towering over her, and her face crumpled into something that looked like pure despair. "Mr. Marcus, Her voice broke into pieces. She looked down at Luke, who was still sleeping peacefully wrapped in his blue blanket. "I am so sorry. I am so sorry." Marcus's hands shook as he reached down and carefully lifted Luke from her arms. He checked him frantically. Breathing okay? No injuries? Just sleeping. The relief hit him like a wave, but it was immediately swallowed by burning, white-hot anger. "What are you doing out here?" he demanded, his voice sharp enough to cut glass. "What is going on? You are supposed to be home with Luke. I pay you to take care of him, not to drag him out onto the streets in the middle of the night like some... Your wife locked us out." The words hung in the air like a bomb. Marcus blinked. "What?" Maria stood up slowly. Exhausted, broken. Her eyes were swollen and red from crying. "Mrs. Caroline," she whispered. "She came home early from her trip. She was angry. She told me to leave. She pushed me out the door with Luke in my arms and locked it behind me." Marcus felt like someone had punched him in the gut. "Caroline did what?" "She would not let me back in." Maria's voice trembled. "I knocked and knocked. I begged her, but she would not answer. I had nowhere to go, Mr. Marcus. I have been out here for hours. I did not know what to do. I just kept walking with Luke, trying to keep him warm. Then I sat down just for a minute, and I guess I fell asleep." Marcus stared at her, his mind spinning out of control. Caroline was supposed to be in Paris for another 3 days. Why would she come home early? And why in God's name would she throw Maria out? "With Luke? She threw you out? With my baby?" His voice was quiet now, dangerous. Maria nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I tried to tell her Luke needed to stay inside. It is cold tonight, but she would not listen. She just kept screaming at me to get out." Rage, unlike anything Marcus had ever felt before, rose up inside him. Caroline had done selfish things before, thoughtless things. But this crossed every line. This was unforgivable. "Come with me," he said firmly. "We are going home. Now." Maria hesitated. "But Mrs. Caroline, I do not care what Caroline said. You are coming home. Luke is coming home. And my wife is going to explain herself." They walked to Marcus's car in silence. He had been coming home from a late meeting when he saw them on that bench. At first, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him, but no. It was really them. He strapped Luke into the car seat. The baby opened his eyes for a moment, looked at his father, and then drifted back to sleep. Marcus felt his heart squeeze painfully. How could Caroline do this to their son? Maria sat in the front seat, still wearing those yellow gloves, staring straight ahead without saying a word. The drive home felt endless. Marcus's mind raced with questions, with anger, with disbelief. He thought about Caroline, his wife of 5 years. Beautiful, successful, brilliant. But lately, she had been different, cold, distant, always busy with work, always traveling, never home. When Luke was born 3 months ago, Marcus thought everything would change. He thought Caroline would fall in love with their son the way he had. But she didn't. She barely held Luke. She never fed him or changed him. She hired Maria to do everything. Marcus tried to talk to her about it. "You need to bond with him," he said. "He is your son." But Caroline just shrugged. "I am not good with babies. That is why we have help." It hurt. But Marcus told himself it would get better. Some women just needed more time. But now this. Now she had thrown their baby out onto the street. They pulled up to the mansion. All the lights were off except one. The living room. Marcus turned off the car and looked at Maria. "Stay here," he said. "Let me handle this." But Maria shook her head. "I am coming with you. She needs to see that Luke is okay. She needs to see what she did." Marcus didn't argue. He carried Luke inside, with Maria following close behind. The front door was unlocked. He pushed it open and stepped into the massive entryway. The house was silent. Too silent. "Caroline!" he called out. "Caroline, where are you?" No answer. He walked into the living room. And there she was, Caroline, sitting on the white leather couch, holding a glass of red wine, looking perfectly calm like nothing had happened. "Oh, you are home?" she said casually. "I was wondering when you would show up." Marcus stared at her in disbelief. "What did you do?" Caroline took a sip of her wine. "I sent the help away. She was getting on my nerves." "She was not just help." Marcus's voice exploded through the room. "She was holding our son, our 3-month-old baby. You threw them out onto the street in the middle of the night." Caroline shrugged. "She needed to learn her place." Marcus felt like he was going to be sick. "Learn her place? Caroline, she was taking care of Luke. You locked them out." "They were sleeping on a bench." For the first time, Caroline's expression changed. She looked surprised. "What do you mean, sleeping on a bench?" "Exactly what I said," Marcus shouted. "I found them on a park bench downtown. Maria was passed out from exhaustion, holding Luke. Do you understand what could have happened? Someone could have hurt them. Luke could have gotten sick. What were you thinking?" Caroline stood up slowly. "I just told her to leave. I did not think she would—" She stopped. For a moment, she looked uncomfortable. Then her face hardened again. "Well, maybe she should have gone to a hotel." "A hotel?" Marcus could not believe what he was hearing. "She does not have money for a hotel, Caroline. She sends everything she earns back to her family, and even if she did, why would she need one? This is her home. She lives here." "I did not ask her to take Luke with her," Caroline said defensively. "You locked the door before she could put him down." Maria's voice came from behind Marcus. She stepped forward, her face wet with tears. "I tried to bring him back inside. I begged you, but you would not open the door." Caroline looked at Maria like she was an insect. "I do not have to explain myself to you." "No," Marcus said quietly. "But you do have to explain yourself to me." He walked over to Maria and gently handed Luke to her. "Take him upstairs. Give him a bath and put him to bed. I will be up soon." Maria nodded and took Luke. She glanced at Caroline one more time, then hurried up the stairs. Marcus turned back to his wife. "Sit down." "Do not tell me what to do." "Sit down." His voice was steel. Caroline sat. Marcus paced back and forth. "I have tried to be patient with you. I know being a mother is hard. I know it is not what you expected. But Caroline, this crosses a line. You put our son in danger. You put Maria in danger. Something terrible could have happened." Caroline looked away. "I just needed a break." "A break?" Marcus repeated. "You have been on a business trip for a week. You have been taking breaks since Luke was born. You are never here." "Because I have a career," Caroline snapped. "Because I have a life outside of this house. I am not going to become some boring housewife just because we had a baby." "No one is asking you to give up your career," Marcus said. "But you are his mother. You have to at least try." Caroline laughed bitterly. "Try? Marcus, I do not want to try. I never wanted this. The room went silent. What did you just say? Marcus's voice was barely a whisper. Caroline stood up and walked to the window. I never wanted a baby. I told you that before we got married, but you kept pushing and pushing. You said it would be fine. You said we could hire help. You said I would not have to change my life. Marcus felt like the ground was crumbling beneath him. You said you wanted a family. I said I would think about it, Caroline corrected. And then you kept bringing it up, and you looked so happy when you talked about it. So I agreed. But I never really wanted it, Marcus. I did it for you. Marcus sat down on the couch, feeling numb. You did it for me? Yes, Caroline said. And now I am stuck in this life I never wanted, with a baby I never asked for, and I am miserable. Marcus looked at her, really looked at her. The woman he married, the woman he loved, she looked so cold, so empty. If you feel that way, he said slowly, why are you still here? Caroline turned to face him. What? Why are you still here? Marcus repeated. If you are so miserable, why do you stay? She didn't answer right away. Then she said, because I love you. Do you? Marcus asked. Because it does not feel like it. It has not felt like it for a long time. Caroline opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. Marcus stood up. I think you should leave. Leave? Caroline's eyes widened. Marcus, this is my house too. I do not care, Marcus said. I want you out. Tonight. Pack a bag and go. You cannot be serious. I am completely serious, Marcus said. What you did tonight was unforgivable. You put our son in danger. You hurt someone who has done nothing but help us. And now you are telling me you never wanted any of this. So fine. Leave. Go live the life you want. Caroline stared at him. For a moment she looked like she might cry, but then her face hardened again. Fine. I will go. She walked past him and headed up the stairs. Marcus heard her moving around in their bedroom, opening drawers and closets. 20 minutes later, she came back down with a suitcase. She stopped at the bottom of the stairs and looked at him. I do love you. I hope you know that. Love is not enough, Marcus said. Not when you cannot even love our son. Caroline's face crumpled. For the first time that night, she looked truly hurt. But she did not argue. She just turned and walked out the door. Marcus stood in the empty living room for a long time. He felt like he should be sad. He should be devastated. But all he felt was relief. Finally, he walked upstairs. Maria was in the nursery, sitting in the rocking chair with Luke. She had changed him into fresh pajamas, and he was drinking from a bottle. Is everything okay? Maria asked quietly. Marcus nodded. Caroline is gone. Maria looked surprised. Gone? Like, gone? Yes, Marcus said. He sat down on the floor next to the rocking chair and watched his son drink. She is not coming back. They sat in silence for a while. Luke finished his bottle and fell back asleep. Maria put him in his crib and covered him with his favorite blanket. I am sorry, Maria said. I should not have told you what she said. Maybe I made things worse. No, Marcus said. You did not make anything worse. You told me the truth. And I needed to hear it. He stood up and looked at her, really looked at her. She was still wearing that burgundy work uniform with the white trim, still wearing those yellow gloves. Her eyes were tired, but they were kind. Thank you, he said, for protecting him, for keeping him safe when his own mother would not. Maria's eyes filled with tears again. I love him. He is like my own child. Marcus felt something shift in his chest. He reached out and squeezed her shoulder. I know you do. They stood there together watching Luke sleep, and for the first time in months, Marcus felt like things might actually be okay. The next few weeks were hard. Caroline sent lawyers to work out the divorce details. She wanted the house, the cars, half of everything. But Marcus did not care about any of that. He just wanted Luke. The lawyer said it would be easy. Caroline had abandoned them. She had put the baby in danger. No judge would give her custody. Marcus hired the best lawyer in the city. Within a month, he had full custody of Luke. Caroline got nothing. She did not even fight for visitation rights. "She does not want to see him?" Marcus asked his lawyer in disbelief. The lawyer shook his head. "She said she thinks it is better this way. Better for everyone." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. How could a mother just walk away like that? How could she not even want to see her own son? But then he looked at Luke, and the anger faded. Luke was happy. He was healthy. He was loved. And that was all that mattered. Maria stayed. Of course she stayed. Marcus gave her a raise and moved her into a better room in the house. He told her she was not just the housekeeper anymore. She was family. "You do not have to do that," Maria protested. "I am just doing my job." "No," Marcus said. "You are doing so much more than that. You love Luke like he is your own. You protect him. You care for him. You are more of a mother to him than Caroline ever was." Maria cried when he said that. She hugged him tight and whispered, "Thank you." As the months went by, Marcus noticed something. He started to see Maria differently. She was always there, always smiling, always patient with Luke. She sang to him in Spanish. She made him laugh. She stayed up with him when he was sick. She celebrated every little thing, his first tooth, his first word, his first time rolling over, and she was beautiful. How had Marcus never noticed that before? The way her eyes crinkled when she smiled. The way she hummed while she worked. The way she looked at Luke with so much love. One night, Marcus came home late from work. Maria was in the living room holding Luke, swaying back and forth. Luke was crying and she was trying to calm him down. "Hey," Marcus said softly, "what is wrong?" "I think he is teething," Maria said. "Poor baby, he is in so much pain." Marcus walked over and gently took Luke. He rocked him and kissed his forehead. "It is okay, buddy. Daddy is here." Luke stopped crying and looked up at his father with big blue eyes. Then he smiled. It was a tiny, gummy smile, but it was there. Marcus felt his heart melt. He looked up at Maria, who was watching them with tears in her eyes. "Why are you crying?" he asked. "You are such a good father," Maria said. "Luke is so lucky to have you." Marcus felt something stir in his chest. "I am lucky to have him, and I am lucky to have you." They stood there looking at each other, and Marcus realized something. He was falling in love with Maria. No, he was already in love with her. He did not know when it happened. Maybe it was that night on the bench. Maybe it was all the little moments since then. But somewhere along the way, Maria had become more than just the woman who took care of his son. She had become the woman he wanted to spend his life with. "Maria," he said quietly, "can I ask you something?" "Of course," she said. "Why did you stay?" he asked. "After everything that happened with Caroline, after she treated you so badly, why did you stay?" Maria looked down at her hands. "Because of Luke. I could not leave him. He needed me." "Just because of Luke?" Marcus asked. She looked up at him, and her eyes were soft. "No, not just because of Luke." Marcus's heart started beating faster. "Then why?" Maria took a deep breath. "Because of you, too." The room was silent except for Luke's soft breathing. Marcus stared at Maria, and she stared back, and everything he wanted to say was written on her face. "I have been in love with you for a long time," she whispered. "I know I should not be. I know it is wrong, but I cannot help it." Marcus felt joy explode in his chest. "It is not wrong. It is not wrong at all." He leaned down and kissed her. It was soft and gentle and perfect. When they pulled apart, Maria was crying again, but this time she was smiling too. "Are you sure?" she asked. "I am just a housekeeper. I do not have money or status or—" "Stop," Marcus said. "You are not just anything. You are the woman who saved my son. You are the woman who taught me what real love looks like. You are the woman I want to build a life with." Maria covered her mouth with her hand. "Marcus, marry me," he said. "I know it is fast. I know we just got here. But Maria, I do not want to waste any more time. Marry me. Be Luke's mother. Be my wife." Maria laughed through her tears. "Yes, yes, yes, yes." They kissed again, and Luke made a happy gurgling sound like he approved. 1 year later, Marcus and Maria stood in the same living room where everything had changed. But this time they were surrounded by friends and family. This time they were wearing wedding clothes. This time they were promising to love each other forever. Maria wore a simple white dress. She looked more beautiful than Marcus had ever seen her. Luke, now 1 year old, sat in the front row, held by Maria's mother, who had flown in for the wedding. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, the room was silent. No one objected. Everyone could see how happy they were. Marcus slid a ring onto Maria's finger and said, "I promise to love you for the rest of my life. I promise to honor you, respect you, and cherish you. You saved me, Maria. You saved us both." Maria cried as she put a ring on his finger. "I promise to stand by you always. I promise to love Luke like he is my own. I promise to build a family with you, a real family, full of love." When they kissed, the room erupted in applause. Luke clapped his tiny hands and laughed. After the ceremony, Marcus held Luke while Maria greeted guests. He looked down at his son, his beautiful, perfect son, and felt overwhelming gratitude. "You know," he whispered to Luke, "your mama saved us. She was there when we needed her most, and now we get to spend the rest of our lives loving her back." Luke giggled and grabbed his father's nose. Marcus laughed and kissed his forehead. That night, after all the guests had left, Marcus and Maria sat on the couch together. Luke was asleep upstairs. The house was quiet and peaceful. "Can you believe we are here?" Maria asked. "A year ago, I was sleeping on a bench. Now I am your wife." Marcus pulled her close. "I can believe it. Because this is where you were always meant to be. This is where we were always meant to be." Maria rested her head on his shoulder. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too," Marcus said. "Forever." And in that moment, with his wife in his arms and his son sleeping upstairs, Marcus knew that he had everything he ever needed. Not money, not status, not a fancy house, just love. Real, deep, unshakable love. The kind of love that starts on a dark street corner. The kind of love that grows in the quiet moments. The kind of love that lasts forever. So what do you think of Marcus and Maria's story? Did Marcus make the right choice? Should a father always choose love over everything else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And do not forget to subscribe to Emotional Stories for more incredible true stories that will touch your heart and make you believe in second chances.